Hey guys, John Kane here, your Elite Performance Coach. In today's training, we're going to walk through our 6-step Ascension Operating System that can help optimize, manage, and elevate you, the leader, so you can actually lead, perform, and succeed in every aspect of your life without sacrificing or burning out. So if you're a high-level entrepreneur or you're a C-suite executive, I know this message is going to resonate with you, because behind the curtains, where most people never actually get to see, is another reality that only you can experience and only you can feel and understand, that weight of expectation, that burden that you carry every single day. Those sleepless nights, those early morning anxiety, knowing that basically you're the person that every decision is going to fall to. And half the time you're not even sure or certain yourself if you're making the right decision. This all becomes even harder when our nervous system is unregulated, when our mindset isn't dialed in, and we're not performing to the best of our capabilities. We're going to walk through our Ascension Operating System, how you can implement it, and how it's going to help you if you apply what I'm going to share with you today. So let's dive right into our AOS system. In the short training, I'm going to show you how to go from running on pressure to leading from power, using what I call the Ascension Operating System, which is a complete framework designed to manage, optimize, and elevate you. A little bit about me, if we're meeting for the first time, I'm John. I'm a PCC ICF coach. If you're not familiar with the International Coaching Federation, they're the most prestige organization when it comes to certifying coaches. And I have a professionally certified coaching level with over 1,000 hours of one-on-one coaching experience, over 100 hours of training that has gone into becoming the coach I am today. And I also hold numerous other certifications, accreditations, which makes me a unique specialist within my field. Mindset specialist, sleep performance coaching. I've done my NLP certification, neuro-linguistic programming. I basically see it as I've been filling my toolbox with different tools that I can pull out to help high performers like you get results. So what are we going to look at today, and why is it important? Well, number one, why high performance creates hidden instability. Why willpower will fail you despite what they tell you on podcasts, and 5 layers of the Ascension system. This training is for you if you want to actually create a system that optimizes you first. You're tired of the isolation and sleepless nights and would like to be able to close some of those loops and create mindset mode so you can go from being entrepreneur or CEO to dad or to husband, and you're ready to take accountability for yourself. And that part is very important, because nothing changes until you're willing to change. And number one, you take ownership of your life and everything in it. Number two, you take accountability to the process of change. External accountability will help, which helps us go from unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence, but we need to be the one who takes ownership and accountability to make actual change. This training is not for you, and you might as well turn it off right now if you want to work 80 hours a week, you don't want to find yourself again, and you're not interested in becoming the best version for you and your family. So let's frame this conversation from the perspective of the burden of leadership is a heavy burden. And that is where most leaders lose themselves in the process, is trying to carry that weight because they're not equipped to do so. Unregulated stress, anxiety, rumination, it builds quietly over time. It's not something that just happens overnight. You might still be performing at a high level, but inside, your nervous system is in chaos. Neural threat is amplified. You start to feel distance from yourself, the real reasons you started in the first place, disconnected from those around you because you don't feel safe and secure enough to actually share. You snap more easily with your family, sleep disappears over and over, becomes the new norm, and relationship starts to get strained. Most people turn to tactical solutions like hacks, productivity tools, etc., which, look, I'm guilty of it myself. It's what we listen to, but it's cookie cutter and it's not actually specific for you. Until you program the unconscious patterns driving your stress, your systems will keep looping over and over. So let's look at the Ascension Operating System and how that can change it for you and what you can apply basically directly after this training today. Number one is it optimizes, manages, and elevates you. Every system we try to implement into a business or into an organization is usually designed to optimize the efficiency of the business, to optimize the efficiency of the team, the culture. But we never actually create a system to optimize ourselves, because we are the biggest asset. And how can you motivate others? How can you inspire others? How can you make others feel good if you don't feel good? We focus on identity level change, not surface level change. Science-driven process, which also makes it self-sustaining, which is always important for me with every client that I work with, is you don't need me for the rest of your life. You get the skills. I teach you the skills. I teach you how to think differently. I teach you how to regulate your emotions. I teach you how to operate from a space of calm under chaos. So you can actually do that within your own life as you progress, and you can teach it to others. The Ascension vision is the starting point for everything we do in life. Without a vision, how do we decide what's important in terms of day-to-day activities? That's how we get stuck into just one thing, thinking only about the business, because we don't have a bigger vision that encompasses it all, every aspect of our life. And that's the first thing I create with all of my clients. Work-life integration. Forget work-life balance. You're a high performer. You choose to be a high performer. Yes, there's sacrifice with that, but we can find ways to integrate work and life. We can find ways to create mindset modes and transitions that help us go from being the CEO entrepreneur to being the dad. So when we're at home, we're actually at home. When we're in the office, we're actually at office, because we're going to realign our values and what's most important to us. And all of this will tie into the vision that we build and the inspiration that's going to flow from that. Identity OS, right? The operator upgrade. Upgrading your identity. So this is the highest level of change, because most people try to change upstream, right? We try hacks, we try the systems, the tools, but the problem is they're all swimming up against the current, because until we change what's happening up here, which governs everything, then nothing changes. So we have to change at an identity level. And we do this by, number one, deconstructing the current self-image that you have. And then we're going to create a future self-image and a future alter ego that you can step into every single day. That's going to help remove some of the resistance that you have from the previous versions of yourself. We're going to upgrade that self-image to align with the vision that we create. Next, it's about stability. Stability OS. You probably can see that in the corner. Nervous system and mindset mastery. All right. So the first thing we have to do is bring some calm to the chaos. We have to regulate our nervous system, remove some of those threats that we're currently experiencing, so we can actually access the logical part of our brain. Because right now you're running on pure emotion. We have to reset that nervous system by prioritizing you first, creating certain ports that are going to help elevate you, so you're vibrating at a higher level, so you feel good, so you can perform good consistently. Then we're going to introduce our Ascension mindset system, which I'm going to give you some of today, right now, which is know your story, change your story, train your story. Number one, know your story. What is it that's currently holding me back? How do I self-sabotage? How does that show up in my thoughts, in my feelings, in my somatic in terms of my body? And how does it show up in my daily behaviors and actions? Once we know that, we can start to change it. And that's where the vision is so important, because we start to reconstruct new identities, new mindset narratives that align. Then we have to train that on a cognitive and a behavioral level every single day through mental rehearsal and actually affirmative action. Integration OS. Ideal week. What would your ideal week look like? We're looking at this more from energy management instead of time management. Let's get away from to-do list and start looking at how can we optimize our most important assets of energy, of our time, right? What's our ideal week? What's our guideposts? What's going to help us stay focused on what matters most so we can run the play daily? And this is going to come from our Ascension multipliers, which are simply your 20% that get you 80% results, which we will help you find. Then we have to look at managing energy, recovery, and presence, so you can show up and lead to the best of your capacity over and over. I always like to look at it from the perspective of, think of a Formula One driver, right? They have pre-planned pit stops. Or you look at a sports athlete, right? They've got preseason, off-season, on-season. Why? To optimize performance. But in leadership or in entrepreneurship, we don't apply the same principles, and that is why we burn out. Next is our execution, our execution performance flow, 90-day sprints system. So I like to operate in 90 days because it gives us a clear game plan. So we do our thinking first, and then we do all of our execution, not just in business, but every aspect of our life. We have weekly tracking, which helps to build some of those new neural pathways, which I introduce later through things like counting wins, through looking at the gains instead of the gaps. But sensory acuity is basically noticing at a higher level the patterns, right? And being able to anticipate when we need to change, when do we need to shift our strategy. And that is when adaptation is important. And that's part of the execution layer. Expansion layer is about sustainability and ascension. Life audits to help, basically self-report cards. So you can look at each of the key ascension categories of your life and really look at where we're in the green, where we're in the red, and where we're maybe orange right now, and we need to put more attention on. We're going to look at our categories of excellence, that basically these are areas that have to have continuous growth, right? We can't stagnate in these areas. And for most high achieving performers, things like health, things like personal development are areas that don't get the attention they require. 1% marginal gains, deepening of mindset practices, right? So the expansion layer is the final layer where we're now looking to build on the solid foundation that we've created. We brought some stability to our nervous system. We've created a clear game plan that we're now executing on, and a vision that's bigger than just us, that encompasses every aspect of our life. So we've been able to bring some calm to the nervous system. We've introduced the mindsets practices that help us stop sabotaging ourselves on a daily basis. We've introduced recovery protocols, different ports that help basically help us vibrate at a higher level. So we're thinking higher, we're thinking bigger. We can tap into emotional experiences that we're trying to create with the goals that we actually have. So emotional priming is such a super important part of setting a goal, but most importantly, stepping into the version of yourself that can actually accomplish that. Before we wrap up this training, I want you to think from the perspective of when we fix your operating system, everything ascends with you. We become obsessed with focusing on the external, and we don't focus enough on ourselves. We are the biggest asset. And like I said, if we don't feel good, how can we make others feel good? How can we make high-level decisions if we can't even tap into the logical part of our brain? If we're sabotaging our relationships and we're carrying that weight into work, but you're also carrying the weight of work into your home. This isn't sustainable. This isn't what sustainable success looks like. We have to find a way to manage ourselves, to optimize ourselves, so we can be the person who can accomplish any goal in every aspect of our life. So if this resonated with you, and this is something you would like to work on together with me, so we can build out your vision and we can change each of the layers of the operational system, I want you to message me on Mindset. Message me Mindset on Instagram. You can find me at official John Kane, or WhatsApp me at the number below, or email me at john@ascensionu.com, or .co, sorry, john@ascensionu.co. I have an audit that I can do with you. It's 25 questions based on mindset, based on emotional intelligence, resilience, lifestyle, habits, and so on. That can then give us more data to see what we can really work on and what would be most beneficial for you. But reach out to me if this is something that you're ready to change and you're ready to now lead from a place of certainty again, a place of calm, so you can bring the best version to you to every aspect of your life, because that is the life that you wanted in the first place and the life that you actually deserve. So until then, take care.